Well, good evening everyone, and the infamous words of the A-team leader who just loves it when a plan comes together have finally come true. So what do we have here? Well, here we have the complete lineup of post-British World War II tanks. Now I was going to say medium tanks, but of course we have Conqueror, a heavy tank. So let's start at the front end, and I've not included the Cromwell because that was of course a World War II design, and I haven't included the Charioteer. The Charioteer was actually a tank, but I haven't got a Charioteer. So I'm focusing really just on the well-known ones. I might include a Charioteer at a later point. Charioteer was of course a tank which was designed to carry the 20-pounder. Not the most successful design ever, but in terms of successful tanks, we have the Comet here. This is a Butler's printed models, the resin print. A nice, good, well-balanced medium cruiser tank with okay-ish armour, a good engine, good mobility, and a decent 77mm main gun. Not the Firefly's 17-pounder, slight differences. Then we have, this time, the British are still working on the heavy tank and the medium tank. So the Centurion is the medium tank. This is a Mark 5 early with the 20-pounder gun, 84mm gun. And the idea was they were very scared of something called the TES-10 Soviet tank. So you had the Centurions, which would go forwards to deal with the T-54s and infantry. And then in an overwatch position, you would have the Conquerors. Now the Conqueror is a 65-ton tank with a 120mm main gun. Very good actual tank, but not the most heavily armoured to the side. This was designed to provide you with overwatch. So that role then went to the missile systems, and this is a Butler's printed models, and this is again a Butler's printed models, the Mark 5 Centurion. Now I've covered the others, so I'll whip through them, but then we have an early Chieftain. I thought this was a Mark 5, but in fact it's probably a Mark 3. The Chieftain did away with the need for the Conqueror and the Centurion. It put everything into one package. Initially plagued by engine problems, which was somewhat resolved but still persisted, it was improved in various marks. So the next one we have here is a Mark 9. The Mark 9 was an improvement because it had the laser rangefinder, the muzzle reference system, doing away with the need for the ranging machine gun. Now the ranging machine gun started to feature in the Centurions, and the ranging machine gun made a big difference because you could put the tracer from the ranging MG onto the target, see where it bounced off, and then fire your main gun. Obviously, as you get to the laser rangefinder, you don't need that. And then the next improvement is in night vision capability. So here we have a searchlight equipped tanks, infrared and white searchlights. And then we get onto the thermal observation and gunnery system with the Chieftain Mark 11, which has the still brew from the Mark 10 and the thermal observation and gunnery system. And then an evolution of the Chieftain line is of course the Challenger 1. The lighting isn't the best in here, I do apologise, but that is the Desert Storm Challenger 1 Mark 3. Then we get to the Challenger 2. Now the Challenger 2 is quite a departure from the Challenger 1 and the Chieftains, and it is really a new tank. So in 1998 we have the Challenger 2. This represents an early version trumpeter kit, really good piece of equipment. And then in 2003, after deficiencies were found in the Safe Syria exercises of 2001, we have the upgraded desertized Challenger 2 with the same armour, interestingly, that the Challenger 1 went to war with. So if you look at the armour here from the Challenger 1, And if you look at the armour on the Challenger 2, essentially apart from an extra piece of a ceramic composite at the front there, this is exactly the same armour with the Romor reactive armour front piece. So very much the baseline armour was good. They upgraded it for protection against RPGs and such like. There's of course the rumours that one Challenger was impacted by 7 million RPGs. Not quite as simple, nothing ever is. Someone else has done a good debunk of that myth. Yes, it took some significant hits, but it has been embellished quite a lot. So I'd refer you to watching that video. But yes, very survivable tank, one of the best. If I was going to war in any tank, I would choose the Merkava 4 and then the Challenger 2. And then we have another Challenger 2. This is a late service one, so the Challenger 2 is still in service. Now, interestingly, when they are not in the TES configuration, which is the theatre entry standard one here, they are just like they were in 1998. The two-part ammunition is now pretty much obsolete. Yes, we've given them to Ukraine. No, they are not as survivable as tanks with the ammunition and the turret bustle, but the TES, and this TES is the latest acquisition. This is from IQBUILT models. It's the Badger 3D printed Challenger 2, which has been expertly painted by IQBUILT. I absolutely love this one. This is the 2008 scheme, as they were in Iraq. Now, what happened here? Well, basically the insurgency in Iraq was getting to a point where movement of vehicles was extremely dangerous, extremely likely to result in casualties, even for something as heavily armed as the Challenger 2. So we have belly plates going on, we have Dorchester 2 armour, we have IED jamming boxes, we have IED jamming aerials, we have a remote weapon system, because if you pop your head above the turret, you are vulnerable. And this is a good compare and contrast with the Challenger 2 of 2003, and the Romor, the reactive armour on the front, has gone. We've now got solid Dorchester composite, because the main danger that they're facing is IEDs, and particularly EFP, explosively formed penetrators. They've also got this slat armour to protect against RPGs, and the slat armour goes all the way round the rear of the tank and round the other side, and also Dorchester armour on the turret. The remote weapon system here with a GPMG, that's pretty much what they've only ever really used in combat, replaces the exposed exposed loader's GPMG position there. Essentially, it's the same tank, but it's heavily upgraded and armoured. And you'll see that on my other video of the M1A2 SEP V2 Tusk, where it's essentially the same tank, but it's heavily upgraded to focus on operations in the modern threat era. Now, the big thing that they are all missing, compare and contrast to my Project 2025 ones, anti-Israeli Merkava 4, is top attack armour. Now, the Challenger does have some, but the modern top attack armour weapons are just evolving now to feature EFPs. So that's an area that I'm focusing on. It wouldn't be too difficult to put top attack armour onto the Challenger. They are looking at the Challenger 3 at some point in 2045 or 2050. It's just an evolution. The British are on an evolution at the minute, but they are going to have to do something about the main armament, because we've probably given Ukraine the last of the shells, that unless we can start producing them, I think this is all absolutely public knowledge, we're going to have to adopt the NATO standard 120mm single piece ammunition. Now, they should have done that absolutely years ago. It would have been so much easier. The Badger 3D printed TES is bang on in my money. I think it's a real shame that Badger went under. It's got the chain gun front, well moulded. The details are nice and crisp. I just think this is absolutely superb. So IQBUILT, thank you. Love this, love the TES. The TES is one of my favourite tanks, being British. Would I want to go to war in it? No, I'd prefer the Merkava 4M windbreaker, but hey, it's not bad in second place. Take care, goodbye.